probably anybody who knows me knows that my dog is the best dog in the world. And so basically all this is going to be is a pouring out of love for my dog. And it feels contrived on some level to have to constantly repeat the story of my dog because I've had more than one, but they're the same. Before I had a dog, I don't think that I knew the full capacity of responsibility and loving another individual with full throttle commitment. Day in, day out, 24/7, figuring out what that was going to look like. And I think it's made me a better person. When I look at my dog Journey and how awesome and amazing that she is, and what a interesting and patient soul she must have to deal with me, it's pretty great. Like, it's pretty next level. And I can't compare it to human relationships. I feed her, I give her attention, interaction. It's pretty basic overall. Like, the other day, she just stood in the middle of the living room and she looked at me straight in the eyes and she squatted down and took a piss. This is not normal behavior. And I didn't necessarily get mad at her because I've learned by her and her previous incarnation that that's not the way to respond. But I sincerely gave her a look that was just, really? Are you really doing this right now? Like that in front of me? And that, why? Why? No. This isn't conducive to any sort of relationship that we have, but you're obviously trying to tell me something and I'm not sure what that is. Because here's the thing. Even though she hadn't gone out to go potty yet, if she's feeling urgent, she isn't shy about going near the door and making some noise and like scratching or whining and being like, hey, yo, pay attention to me. There's something I want right now, and it requires that you come open and use your thumb to press a button to open a door. So now. It's like that, but more whiny. I love that she has her language for urgency in certain manners, in certain ways. And the beautiful thing about, I think, reincarnated beings is that if you're paying attention, you get the opportunity to understand a language within your relationship that transcends, the passage of time and the outward expression that may or may not, whatever. So, Journey, who was Claudia, had much experience with me in a different way. And I was very rough because even in myself, I was refining certain attributes. And I was watching a video and people putting in there 2 bits about people getting animals, adopting animals, or buying animals. It made me really upset. Not in a sense that I'm gonna do anything more than talk about it right here, right now. Getting a dog for me was a serious, serious thing. Serious. Right? I am an animal person, but I am definitely a dog person as the first basis of, heck yeah, give me some dogs. And my first dog was just bruised, battered, and in her own way, and I don't know the details on any of that other than she definitely had like bullets and stuff in her body, little BBs, you know. And I was still working on my outward impulses in regard to my expression of frustration. So Clara was pretty amazing in so many ways. I don't know how you could make it any better. Except for Journey is exactly that next level. It's weird. It's not weird. It's totally perfect. It's how I see our reality actually existing if we were able to lose some certain imposed constructs that we're told are very important to concentrate on. And, okay, how was I thinking about this? Let me find some more music for the background. Okay. It's really hard, I think, for people who are in tune enough to their spiritual nature and aware enough of the physical impact reality that I'll just say it, there are a lot of people out there who are trying to get you to spend money to know secrets about the universe or something. Law of attraction kind of stuff. And nobody should ever have to pay for that, ever. Because it's a construct of how we live, and making people pay for it and keeping it a secret is bastardizing an idea in the sense of the people who want you to pay for this information also say in the same breath that they want you to be your best self. But the little, writing at the bottom of the page is, but not without a price for the benefit of the seller, right? I don't like that. So the secret music makers and the secret speakers and the secret creators, they put their stuff out there. It's so fun. We get to put that out there for somebody to stumble on someday and be like, getcha, all right? So all these people are trying to sell knowledge, knowing, gnosis, organic flow, and packaging it as a program like everything else, and saying you can't have it unless there's an exchange that's beneficial for the one who holds the information. As a creative person, I've been interested in a lot of varieties of creation. And inevitably, as much as I love it, I still end up at this point where I'm not nearly as passionate about certain forms or ways that I've created. in the past. I find that this ability to sit and tell a story with a musical interlude in the background, there's not a lot to waste in that moment. I'm just having a little bit of pre-planning and then free-flowing into that, and then I'm going to post it and give it for free into the world. I was talking to a fella last night who felt pretty sincere on the idea that we are parasites on the earth. And I thought to myself, because he kept saying, no, you got to think on the macro. You got to think on the macro. But I'm like, I know about the reflection of the macro and the micro. And so why don't we look smaller to see what this bigger thing is and where it's polarized? And I thought about the idea of bacteria and parasites on the earth and in our bodies, and how we have beneficial bacteria in our body, and supposedly even people without quote-unquote cancer have cancer cells, that we all have cancer cells. We all have the potential to go into a form of sickness by having an unbalanced population of organisms taking over one area in a certain way, right? The thing that I thought about, though, mostly was how we have our consciousness as people. And so if we view people on Earth as parasites, because we see how people do appear and act like parasites or comparably to parasites, it's not that it's wrong, but it's not that it's 100% true. And my focus in that was that it was more the inorganic pressure of man thinking he can dominate nature, dominate creation, than it is about man being ultimately just corrupt. Because when you see a brand new baby, yeah, they're weird looking, but they're also very adorable. And they smell like the beginnings of life, and that's intoxicating for more than one reason. It's probably whatever the closest the smell of hope could be to embodying that, probably. A little being coming out into the world who is helpless, like deer, sheep, cows, horses. They all walk pretty quickly after they're born. I mean, they're up on their legs. They can see. They're a little wobbly. They're awkward, but they can get up and move. But cats, big ones and small ones, when they're born, they can't even see out of their eyes for at least a week. I can't even remember now. It's only been about a year, but having kittens, no, they're pretty helpless for like a week, but then they start getting on. The animals that are prey in the world, like deer, are not carnivorous. They're not going to be hunting a cat. A cat would hunt a deer. Those animals are able to walk quicker out of the womb than the species of animal that is going to be hunting them. Which means that these animals are not only taking in genetic memory, right? But they are also learning things while they're in the womb. And when you think about animals, oftentimes there are multiple animals, baby animals, holding one space inside of a mother, on the move, doing life, like not shopping at Babies R Us. You know what I'm saying? Animals are multi-sensory, and they just don't talk to us the way that we talk to each other. And what the fuck is wrong with humanity? We are prioritizing all of this weird stuff, and the elitism of this modern pocket of time where people that I really can't get behind, and I don't even know how to approach the situation other than coming here and talking about it, is you're trying to have people pay you money for secrets of the universe that aren't even necessarily secrets of the universe, except for because people keep them that way. And maybe we could all be better people if we, you know, shared these things without expecting some sort of payback, specifically in the physical and monetary ways. And I've been watching some anti-MLM videos, which I feel like completely the same people who are trying to sell spirituality or enlightenment or I don't know, evolved, self-centered entrepreneurship are the same people who are part of MLMs and finding justification for it. I consider myself like a relatively sentient person and self-reflective and asking why do I find this bothersome? Not because I want to beat other people down or like smash on their dream, but why am I finding this so problematic on a level where I don't even feel comfortable communicating it, because I know I'm going to upset people, because I know how people can respond to me, and that's not what I want. Or I'm going to be placated in some other weird way that it's not going to go over. And it's like, do you pray about it? You know, like people all day, every day are worrying about a bunch of bullshit that they shouldn't be worrying about. It's like when the grocery store or Target or wherever you shop starts populating the aisles with holiday decor 2 months before the holiday, just to get you in that mode of thinking, and like even putting sale stickers down that aisle so that you start stocking up early to boost. There's like probably 2 or 3 aisles that are specifically designated in any grocery store for items that are, oh, I didn't necessarily mean to go down this aisle, but look. And it's all pre-programmed for a month or two ahead. That's people trying to sell enlightenment and fucking self-awareness. They're coming out, they're looking pretty, and they're saying, look at this, let me sell you what this is, when I don't necessarily think that self-realization or whatever is outwardly represented in a physical kind of manifestation of whatever Instagram is telling you these people's lives are. It's really strange. I just really don't want to beat down on people, man. If you've learned stuff throughout your life, it's probably, like just your responsibility to share it to somebody at some point. And we're learning stuff every day if we're paying attention, so why aren't we passing that along? When I think about the people that I love and the people that I enjoy the company of, I want them to know everything about me. And I want to know everything about them, but I want them to also make it interesting because, why not? We're all imbibed with a bit of sardonic idiosyncraticness. And I want us to be able to get out of the awkward zone as quickly as possible so that we can move to the next level together, whatever that looks like. And when I was in my youth, it was inside jokes. There was nothing more precious than having an inside joke with a person or a little group of people. And you could be all sitting on the bus together, around a bunch of other just civilians or whatever. And somebody would say something that was a key phrase from that inside joke, and you could all share a laugh. I feel like there is a huge inside joke that I'm definitely in on, but I don't get to ride the bus with those people. We only get to see each other once a year at state drama. It's not because they all go to my same school and we're in the same class, same schedule. No, it's super hard. I think that's must have been one of these last moment contractual stipulations that were made in the final days of ending things and making things just subtly more full of benign torture for certain people. It's so strange. I want to want what other people want, and I can't because it makes no sense. It makes no sense. I just want a bunch of good friends who want to make fun of stuff intelligently and care deeply to the point that so much of this bullshit that gets fixated on is reprioritized, right? Mutually reprioritized. If a friend comes and stays a couple hours with me to talk, I love it. I think it's the best. And I don't try and make things super tense, but if they do get tense, it's not because I'm trying to upset anybody. It's because, wow, man, like we are so compacted and compiled and rarely have the opportunity to unload the way that we need to and then be able to move to that next level. And I think what inside jokes do are little anchor points where you can be like, oh, we can go back to there, which lends to a feeling of comfort. Then we can try and ascend again outside of this other zone that needed some sort of resonance. Isn't this great when the music just really tunes in there? That kind of rising up in frequency, like you want to see your friends thrive just as much as you want to thrive yourself. And one of the things that laughter does is it brings us levity. It brings us elevation. Even when it's not necessarily the greatest, maybe sometimes in its fixation of content, but the act of laughter in that levity is what elevation of joy really is most akin to. I don't think that we're taught how to tie in joy with laughter. That's why comedians are comedians. Like, that's how they've figured out how to interweave that. But being able to conjure that feeling and knowing what that looks like in everyday reality seems important. And why it's missing is because, like, grow up, right? Don't laugh at that. We also get so tied up in our own heads and beingnesses that, gosh, who is there to laugh with? And laughing at the self oftentimes comes across as self-deprecation. So that's cool. Real classy. I don't know, man. In my opinion, it shouldn't be so much work to find the people that you can laugh with and observe with and be honest with and grow with, change with, adapt with, and be purposefully and willingly accountable to. Buddies. But more than buddies, because the awareness of it isn't just a physical thing, isn't just a friendly thing. It's a spiritual thing. And it's something that you realize has transcended beyond lifetimes. And soul contracts in different places, different spaces, different ways. And culminated into today. One of the greatest ways that we've been kind of screwed over in our loss of knowing our history is that the relationships that we have with the people that we love are very purposeful. And they go way beyond this flesh and blood this time around. And with everything that we're dealing with right now, human-wise, it's super duper attached to a non-linear timeline. And it's beautiful, and it's complex, and it deserves attention. But if people can't get on that same page, then there's this whole chapter of reality, or a layer of reality, or many layers of reality that are existing and being ignored because some people just don't feel comfortable with the idea. But they're cool with just like reading Harry Potter books and buying fucking fake magic wands off the internet because they wish they were a muggle I don't even know any of that stuff because I haven't watched it, right? So, in my priority, it's never been a priority to watch Harry Potter or learn the language or